And in the thing, there are about 4 or 5 assignments of who did it. There are about 4 or 5 different things that might have done it. It's blamed on one of these things this time and another thing that time, and so on, so as to get people very confused as to what was the true cause of the entire thing. After they were packaged up, they were blown off into space and let them go to hell. These planets averaged 178 billion human beings per planet. 178 billion. There were 250 billion on this planet. The name of this planet was Tigiak, and this is known as the bomb place, and this is the evil place. This is the place where they all got smashed. You wonder today where you see large areas of where the alleged volcanic action has been, those are R6 explosions, the remains of them. If you go down through many layers of civilizations archaeologically, you come to green glass. Now, to get rid of the whole damn thing, it is only necessary to run Incident 1, really, in most cases, which runs out the whole track because the fellow realizes he's mucking it up, and he knocks it off, and that is that. But Incident 2 has a volcanic explosion which follows the actual explosion as its picture, and it's very tricked up, so that you actually, a bunch of Thetans, and they get bombed. That is one. That is one of the... It's wild. That is one of the explosions that is shown, and there are several explosions shown in sequence. So actually, what happened was there's the real explosion, which is the guy's boxed up in a box, or he is walking around, or some of the loyal officers that were caught here and so on were chained on the top of buildings and so on, so when the bomb hit, why, they would be flicked off into the fantastic hundreds of mile an hour, thousands of mile an hour winds of a gross, complete atomic explosion all over the planet. And they were whirled in these terrific winds and so on. Everybody on the planet was killed. And about 3 days afterwards is actually when the implanter started operating. They had it all rigged to operate. And then, to make a long story short, you can easily get into one of the false explosions. There's the fairy queen, the fairy palace. So it's supposed to be a fairy palace, and dive down to save somebody because there's been an explosion. So that's all phony. So there's false start after false start after false start to the incident. What it is really designed to do is to make the individual cease and desist from creation and to knock out overpopulation. This is one of the big ideas they have, that if they just did all this, then they get rid of all overpopulation. The target of it is the second dynamic. So it is full of second dynamic suppressions. For instance, you find people who are totally obsessed with sex with children. Well, that is taught in R6. They were nice guys. Anyway, make a long story short, there's even a motion picture studio in it. They even give the writers and so forth of the thing. They had several tricks that they used. They can make a full figure appear in the room, which looks totally solid and totally 3D to the person. They're just tricks. Just nothing. We know so much more about the mind than the R6er that there's no comparison. Now, the net result of all of this was to make a 75 million year vacuum as far as this part of the universe is concerned. You wonder why don't, if there's saucers around, why don't they land on this planet? This planet traditionally, over the various zones and areas, has an evil reputation. Mutineers and deserters and that sort of thing are often dumped on this planet. They often come here in refuge because they know nobody's going to come after them. This planet's the planet of the evil repute, and this sector of the universe has a very evil repute. Now, all the data which you have, that was 74 plus billion years ago, almost 75, and this catastrophe overcame this confederation, and it has made a very unsavory part of the universe, to say the least. Relatively, almost modern times, they 20 million years ago or something like that, somebody started up a body line on the planet. It's gradually worked through various areas of barbarism, and once more, R6 tailor-made it to be nothing but a caveman civilization. But nevertheless, they moved up the line, and they moved up toward the dramatization of R6, and that is what man calls progress. Now, they have managed to make things this way and that way. Their technology is rather pathetic. But they moved up the line until there is some possibility of establishing communication with regard to the activity. The fate of the R6er, you'll have many a PC who will say to you, oh my God, they're after me. Well, they sure fixed up an area. They fixed up an implant that their people are taught carefully that any man who tries to save the world must be killed. He must be mobbed and hanged. Any man who tries to save the world. So I, of course, shifted our valence over to a more optimum R6 valence. The whole population of the planet responds like a clock to R6 symbols. They respond to nothing else. They do not respond to reason. They only respond to R6 symbols. So you occupy the wrong symbol, and people begin to think of you as a person who is going to save the planet, then one and all are more or less under orders to slaughter you.